It is indeed our effort and our mission to be a ray of hope in the lives of victims of crime. If you are in need, it is indeed our effort and our mission to be a ray of hope in the lives of the victims of crime. If you are in need, it is indeed our effort and our mission to be a ray of hope in the lives of the
Chains are broken. Shackles come off our feet, man. You know, so listen, man. Hey, Fred, man. I better stop.
No, it's something else. Okay, we got something going.
So check this out. I need you to do this song,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna get the panel up, and then we're gonna talk about this real talk. Is that okay with everybody? All right, let's give it up for my man Gospel Man. What you gonna? I know. I got you. Pray about it. Let's go. Yeah.
That's good right there. Yeah.
That's what this song
It's a little bit doubling, but that's good for sound quality.
You can go ahead and kick that, DJ. I appreciate it, man.
No, we got used to it.
I get so excited about the Lord, man, because what He done did for me, man. Not only just for me, but my family, man. And everywhere I go, man, it just starts coming out. Pray about it, man. No matter what you're going through, man. Pray about it. No matter what. I don't care how low you feel. Pray about it. Talk to the Lord. That's what prayer is.
If it's heavy on your mind, then I think it's about time that you pray about it. Pray about it. If it's heavy on your heart and you feel it on your heart, pray about it. Pray about it. If it's heavy on your mind, then I think it's about time that you pray about it. Pray about it. If it's heavy on your heart and you feel it on your heart, pray about it. Pray about it.
Whatever you going through, just know that you can win. All you gotta do is pray. The victory in Him. Believe every pain and be washed in your sin. So much peace inside whenever Jesus is in. I'm telling you for proof. I done been there too. Both sides of the game, yes, addicted to. I said I prayed and I was high. I knew this wasn't me, and prayer showed the better light. Jesus opened my eyes, I'm no longer blind. See the blessings in my life, and I appreciate my mind. Tell me what is gonna hurt. Take some time to pray. So still in order, watch the rain go away. I've been praying these days that felt like no tomorrow. Lost in the streets, calling baby song. So many sleepless nights. I was praying for new life. Prayers been dancing.
What? You gotta talk to the Lord, man. That's what
The YouTube is good.
Whatever touch agree with you, find it up. It's heavy on your
You
mind.
want to try to set up
Stop
again?
trying, y'all. Pray about it.
I was wondering it wasn't up. Okay.
Take away the pain. The medicine that'll help you through any kind of rain. No matter what you feeling, bow and pray for the healing. If you going through some problems and you feel that you can't solve them, call on the Lord and watch all the blessings pour. I remember late nights, all I wanted to do was cry. I snort another line and kept getting high. Couldn't look myself in the face when I looked in the mirror. Made my vision get blurry when I thought it would be clearer. Another night I'm stuck. Oh man, this ain't what's up. Should've put my hopes in something then. Superstitious luck. I hope my grandma feel me and she praying like she say. Knowing that her grandma's in the streets every day. Hustling on the same playground she used to play. She knows how it is when you lost in this place. I've been seeing better days, but I still gotta pray.
I'm waiting for it to come up right now. Okay.
Oh,
We got the notification,
everybody needs to pray.
and we're
No
good.
matter what you're going through, talk to the Lord about it. Let that sink in your head. Pray about it. Yes. Pray
So I
about
guess that's the source. If you want to mess around with that, but like, then you want to get the double
For all
thing.
the praying grandmas and praying moms, I stand here and ask for prayer. So don't stop
Yeah, that
praying, 'cause
mic-
your prayers
that mic
is
source was
covering
coming off your
those
line.
loved
Yeah.
ones, those sons, those
Well, you're serving
daughters,
us.
whoever is out there and you praying for them, your prayers is covering them. Your prayers is a protection for them.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Come on, y'all, give it up for my man. Y'all, hang on to that. Let's turn it on. Hey, listen, I gotta get one more MC and we gonna get up on this day. In fact, here's what we gonna do. You hold that right there. Let me get this cat up here. Hey, coming to the stage, man. This dude right here, man. He's a cool dude, bro. I want y'all to put your hands together for my man. You already know the biz. I'm gonna let him explain himself. It's Mr. Johnson. Come on, put your hands together, please. What's up, man? Here you go.
Alright, how y'all doing? I ain't gonna be too long. Long story short, used to run these streets of Huntsville, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? My story ain't no different than the next man. I'm just a sinner saved by grace. And if I could tell you anything, you know, is that it's better with His will than our will. 'Cause every time that I went my way, I bumped my head up against the wall. I caused pain to myself. I caused pain to my family. But when I gave my heart to Christ and I said, your will over my will, my life just went a whole nother way. We can run it, DJ. I just want to serve the Lord. broke all these chains. No more mind, it's not a slave anymore, cause I'm saved. And whenever I'm weak, then the Lord give me strength. Look, I could have been in the crisis grave. Could have been doing life in the cage. Could have been strung out on drugs. Could have been somewhere with AIDS. We didn't still I stand here today just the same. Lord, and from the moment I wake up, cause anytime that I look back, compare it to where I'm at, like could have went a whole other way, a whole other way, a whole other way, a whole other way. My life could have turned out a whole other way, a whole other way, a whole other way, a whole other way. My life could have turned out a whole other way. Bread in the penitentiary, friends in the cemetery, and it gets scary when I look at these obituaries, cause I know that it could have been me. A real talk, brain should have been me. But God believe in these things, something worth saving. That's why it's so amazing. Cause I remember days when I would talk to God crazy, like, I don't believe in you. Tell me what I need with you. How many know when you live a lie that it's hard to see the truth? Cause he the truth, and we the proof. Look back upon your life and see how Jesus do. How many times we ain't recognize God's grace? All those times that he kept us out of harm's way. How many times we could clearly hear God say, follow me, but we proceed to turn and go the wrong way. And even when we would disrespect him, he still covered us with his protection. I just want to serve the Lord every day. From the moment I wake up, I hit the floor and I pray. Cause any time that I look back, compare it to where I'm at, life could have went a whole other way, a whole other way, a whole other way, a whole other way. My life could have turned out a whole other way. My life could have turned out a whole another way. Right now, I stay in Texas, been in Texas for about 10 years. I got my lovely wife with me. We have our daughter, she's not here. She's here, but she's not here. She's with my sister. You know, life is good. Life is good.
Come on, y'all. Put your hands together for we gonna get some more. Hey, hang on to that mic. I think right now we're gonna go ahead and transition, man. Let's go ahead and transition. I want all my folks to get up and grab a seat. We're gonna talk in, get it in. Come on, Dr. McMillan. Come on, DJ. Where we at? Where we got? Okay, cool. I'll make sure everybody get a mic. Come on, John. Grab that mic right there, brother. We gotta get one more seat. Can we get Brother Lee, can we get 2 more seats? One more. That'd be great. All right, so we're gonna get in because one of the things that even after the music starts and when music ends, you gotta know what's going on. We gotta know the realities of what's happening in our society, and then the pitfalls and what's going on. We gotta get one. We got Scissor. We're gonna need one more. I'm sorry for Scissor. Scissor popped up. We got another one. Y'all give it up for my man. Come on, DJ Scissor. Man, that's part of the thing too. But we really want to kind of come on up since we're gonna do some questions here, because I really want to one more. Yes, sir. We really want to kind of talk about this story, man, because this thing is real. It's super real, man. Come on up, brother. Because I think at the end of the day, if we're just listening to music, we're just going through the motions, and we don't have the resources or the tools to be able to be free, right? Then it's just a lot of talk. It's just a lot of, there's a lot of good things. It sounds good, but how do I get out of this? Does that make sense? And because the everyday person is going through life, if you have a past, if you've been through this, been through some violation, how do you turn the corner when you have all of these negative views and images in your face? And so that's why we were very intentional about this second annual. We're very intentional every time about the New One Dirty Entertainment, because entertainment has a big impact. What we hear has a big impact. What we see has a big impact. And if we're not careful, we'll find ourselves following suit in the name of, I'm trying to come up. In the name of, I gotta do what I gotta do. In the name of reality, and when reality still bows and should bow to goodness, to good success, and all those things. So let's give it up for our panel. We're gonna get right in. I think this is a good point to do. First of all, if you could tell us your name and where you're from, in a 1 minute, about 1.5 minutes about your story, your past. Why are you sitting on this stage? Because if you're on this stage, it's because you have a significant message to share. All right, let's do it.
Mic check 1, 2. Well, my name is Joseph Murray. They call me Jay Murray. I get to serve as the road manager for DJ Fanatic. Shout out. We're hailing from Opelika, Alabama, but originally I grew up in Columbus, Georgia. And shout out to Gospel Man, because when I was 16 years old, I found myself in prison, running with gangs, guns, girls, anything to try to give me some sort of glory. And also I had praying grandparents, and they also tried to get me to church, read the Bible. It was a time that God had to snatch me out of the world and keep me safe in a place of danger. To let them know how much he loved. Like, I was safe in jail around killers, thieves, murderers, robbers, but also it was the first time I got an opportunity to read the Bible all the way through. And when I got out of there, man, he drew me toward the right people. And now I serve as, I'm a paramedic, I'm a firefighter. I've been that way, been out for over 20 years, so God will do us a great stuff.
Wow. All right, John.
All right, my name is John Keir. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. I have a lot in common with what you just said. If we gave my testimony a title, it would be From Greatness, Grief to Greatness. Because I was in grad school, I was doing really good in life. My dad was murdered tragically at our house. I had to clean it up. It was a bloody massacre. So then I spiraled downhill, just horrible mental health, grief, PTSD, depression, anxiety, psychosis. And after that, for a while, I ended up in prison, like you said. And that was the only place God could reach me, kept me safe in a hellhole. Mentally, spiritually, and physically. It took me right back on the path to greatness.
And put your hands together on my man, John.
Amen, man. It's just inspiring, man, to hear all these testimonies. I'm Andrew Bennett. My artist name is DB. I'm actually from Seattle, Washington. Me and my wife just moved back here to Huntsville, Alabama, almost about a year ago. I grew up, in a Christian home. Parents always teaching about relationship with Jesus. Jesus got a hold of me at age 17. In my high school year, dealing with a lot of peer pressure and dealing with a lot of trying to fit in and trying to be like everybody else. Not knowing that God had a special call in my life, and was just running, from him and ignoring him. And he finally got a hold of me, just like, yo, just stop running, just stop. Like, I got you. I've been trying to get your attention, but now I have you. So I've been walking with the Lord for about 11 years now. And I started really getting into Christian hip hop. Really, my parents put me on Christian hip hop when I was a young kid. I really started doing it seriously about 4 years ago. And God has took me all over the country to be able to share, my Jesus story. And so that's why I'm here today, man, because God waited on a silly boy like me. That's what's up. Come on, y'all. Put your hands on TV.
My man, DJ Sam Smite.
DJ Sam Smite. I've been a DJ for 20 plus years. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm just here to talk about basically the effects of music and music industry and what it has to offer and what it does not have to offer. So happy to be here.
All right, come on. We got, can you use that mic real quick? There you go. Yes, sir. Okay. Introduce yourself, brother. What's up?
All right. Welcome, everybody. My name is DJ Scissorhands. I'm from Pulaski, Tennessee. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You Google that, you might look it up. It's the birthplace of the KKK, so it's a lot of adversity I had to face, but hip-hop was one of the channels that gave me self-expression and some knowledge that I held on to even this present time, because we lost a lot of value in teaching and you know, elements of this culture of ours that we need to own, you know what I'm saying? Just like you said, following a lot of suit and bowing down, you know what I'm saying? We need to rise up.
Put your hands together for my man.
My name is Milton Johnson. Go by Mr. Johnson. I was born here in Huntsville, Alabama. Both my parents went to Oakwood University, and so like I grew up in a good home. You know, both my parents were good, God-fearing people. Once they divorced, and like we moved around. Once they divorced, we moved back to Huntsville, and I just chose to do other things. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. Like my parents was just letting me run around. I just chose to do other things. I chose to run with gangs. I chose to sell drugs. Consequence, I found myself doing 5 years in prison for trafficking. And long story short, I get out and I'm just tired of living this way. So I go and I go to Texas and I turn my life around. I've always been doing music. First it was in the secular world. Then once I can't rap about what I'm not about. So once I stopped living that life, I was like, I had to change my music. And so the music went from secular to Christian. And I mean, so that's really where I'm at. I use my talents to glorify God. And the word.
Come on, y'all. Put your hands together.
By the blood of the Lamb, the word
Yes,
of my testimony.
indeed. Yeah. What's going on, brother? You got to turn it up. Gospel.
Gospel man, named Lorenzo Anderson from Springfield, Ohio. From dope boy to church boy. Been in and out of lockup since I was 15. Gave my life to Christ in 2009 in the county jail in the visiting booth. A man came and he talked to me for like 2 hours. And in that instant, he became my best friend and whatnot. Like I shared my whole life story with him. And at the end of the conversation, he said, "Ain't you sick and tired of getting what you been getting?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "But I don't know nothing else." He said, "Let me introduce you to somebody that can teach you something else." And I said, "I didn't bring a pen. I didn't bring no paper." He said, "You don't need none of that." And I said, well, who is it? What's the phone number? He said, "You don't need none of that." And he said, "It's Jesus Christ." And I just started laughing like, man, my grandma been telling me about this dude. And here I am. I had to hear it from a stranger. But then I said, so how do I talk to Jesus? What I got to do? And he said the prayer with me, and I knew instantly that things had changed because I went back in the pod and they was cussing, and I was like, whoa. So it seemed like they was throwing darts at me, and I'm like, that's strange because I was a cusser. Yeah. That's pretty much it, man. Been out of prison 12 years, man. I got sentenced to 7, and I only did 2.5 of that 7. And during that 2.5,
Come on, wait. You did what?
I got sentenced to 7 years.
Uh-huh.
And I when I started studying, I heard from the Lord, and it was whatever time they give you, you're not going to do. Tell everybody.
Wow.
I just started telling people. They was looking at me crazy, especially after I got sentenced to 7 years. And then I went in prison for 2.5 years, and that's when the transformation happened. And then he let me out, and he put me right back in front of them people that thought I was crazy.
Wow, but that's how I do. Come on, y'all, put your hands gospel, man. Like, you know, the whole point of this is people really need to know that this stuff is real, but it does happen. But there's always a better side of that picture. All right, come on, Doc.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Clifton McMillan. I'm a pastor and a chaplain, but my story is a little bit different, but the same in many ways. I was in the church, left the church, chose some wrong people, went in the military, had some traumatic experiences, wound up being a straight up and down alcoholic, and was really strung out on alcohol for a long time and other things. But the grace of God, in 1987, I surrendered my life to the Lord. And after I surrendered my life that afternoon, I no longer wanted drugs or alcohol. I was clear and clean. And God has been kind enough to walk with me and let me walk with him for the last almost 40 years. But I'm just grateful and thankful for the fact that God is real, the power is real, and all the time I wasted, I just kicked myself because I knew better. I knew who God was. I just didn't want to walk in that way. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with a transformative movement. I believe that God is going to use these young people to change the world. Hip-hop is something that is continuing to affect the whole wide world. And if it can affect it negatively, it can affect it positively. So no more dirty.
All day, no more dirty. Come on, y'all. Y'all give it up for my good doctor friend. He always doing work, man. So I got to get one more. We got some. Y'all give it up for HPD in the building. Listen, a lot of times, there's a disconnect between community and law enforcement. There's a disconnect in a lot of different things that are happening. But I wanted to say thank you. Got a chance to talk to Chief. And we were like, hey, man, let's do this thing. And we've been doing things anyway, but I want you to introduce yourself, both of you all, because you are part of the family as well as we are.
He's giving the good-looking one the mic the first. Y'all, I'm going to have to refer to my notes. I spent all day worrying about this public speaking event because I am terrible at public speaking. I would probably get my name wrong if I didn't have my notes right here. My name is Officer Riggins. I graduated Auburn University in 2016. Yes, War Eagle. Shortly after graduating Auburn, I worked at the Department of Corrections as a corrections officer. I was here locally. I worked for about a year out at Limestone State Prison. I decided to no longer be an inmate with all the other inmates, because we're in there with y'all. We in the thick of things. So I ended up coming out to the street. I've been with the Huntsville Police Department for going on 7 years. I've tried to get as much experience, a diversity of experience while I've been with Huntsville. And for 2 years out of these 7 years, I was with what we call our anti-crime team. It is Huntsville's gang unit. We focus on getting guns out of the hands of people that don't need them before they're able to use them on somebody else. Shortly after I joined, Billy Clardy was killed, and they made the anti-crime team a subgroup of the North Alabama Drug Task Force. So we transitioned a little bit from specifically focusing on guns and guns violence to drugs, prostitution, and then gun violence as well. But I'll share a couple of examples of just some things that I've experienced during my 7-year law enforcement career. But a few years back, I worked a scene where a 3-year-old was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting. That is something I will never forget. I've got twin daughters. They are almost 3 years old, so it really impacted me. The shooting stemmed from an argument that her mother had with an acquaintance on Facebook. This could have all been avoided if these adults would have been just that, adults, and turned the other cheek. I grew up hearing, sticks and stones can break your bones, but words will never hurt me. I wish more would truly listen to what that saying is saying. Yeah.
I want to sit down, guys. My name is Officer Joseph, Huntsville Police. I've been in the department for 16 years. I'm currently the Community Relations Officer, North Precinct. He's my partner. As I look out at the audience and I look at the panels that's here today, I really, gentlemen, thank you guys for being here, and I really wish that these seats were filled up with young people. I really, I know that Minister Fred has put in the work. I heard you guys are passionate, but as I look out, my heart truly breaks. You have a tough job. I thank you guys for being here, and I hope, if I'm correct, it's being televised. I hope the young people and their guardian, their parents are watching this right now so they can replay it, so that as you guys give your testimony and as the Q&A comes out, really and truly, Officer Riggins and I, we're kind of reactive. We try to be proactive, but this is what's really gonna make the difference right here. This community really gonna make the difference. And with HPD or any other law enforcement officers helping out, right? Really, truly bridging the gap. I heard some of the quick testimonies right here. Man, I want to meet every single last one of you guys before you go. Give me a dap, put your card in my hand, especially those that are local, because we can connect and really assist in the senseless activities. I'm not that far removed from young. My beard is just gray, that's all. I'm going to pass it back on to, I think it's who's the host, to start the Q&A. I'm sitting down, Fred. Is that good?
Come on, y'all, give it up for our law enforcement. Excited because we have our special guest, China White, in the building, and we're going to get this chair going. Let's go ahead, and we have one other, my man, Street Certified. Yeah, Mr. Crunk, y'all know he was on Straight Turn Up, right? So let's give it up for Mr. Crunk. Why don't you share, man, your test, man, and then when we going to get this thing before going.
My name is DJ Fanatic, a.k.a. Mr. Crump, originally from, me and Jay Murray from the same area, Tuskegee, Alabama, Auburn, surrounding area. But I am a former gang member called Folk Disciple out of Chicago, originally under leadership of Larry Hoover. I was one that they originated from Chicago over down to Tuskegee. A lot of people come, they go down to school down there and everything. So we got connected, some of my friends, some of the guys dead, some of them in prison. So, but make a long story short, I ended up getting the game at the age of 16. Stayed in the game all the way up to maybe about 25. Became a really big leader down there, well known in the streets. Some of the bad areas in there, seeing a lot of people, you know, over my life getting killed. But it was a turnaround for me. I was facing prison time. But the judge that I faced, he was a real strict judge. He told me if I come back before him again, I was going to go to prison for the rest of my life. But I know it's a God, because God spared me and gave me another chance after chance after chance. And he said, either you choose to go to the military or go to prison. So I chose to go to the military, did 4 years in the military, and that pretty much changed my life. But I grew up in an abusive home, seeing my dad beat my mom at the age of really 8 years old. All the way up probably maybe to 10. And that really just, my mom and my dad separated when I was age 13. But I saw violence through all my life. But I was a real angry team. I was a wreck. I mean, I didn't play. If you come at me, I was going to get you. That's how I was. When I was looking at some of the cops up here and everything from here, I got brothers, military cops and people that in the law forces. But cops on one side or on the other side, we didn't play with the cops neither. We had street sweeper, AKA 47, we didn't play with them. So the Auburn PD, Opelika PD, a lot of people knew me back then, so I didn't care about the cops neither. That's how I was. We were about the game. That's why I wear these hats. This represent the GDs. I wear it because it remind me where I used to be, let the young guys know they ain't the life you want to live. I wear this shirt called Street Certified because I lived that life. I was about the life for real, but now I work with Way to Serve ministry called Way to Grow. We mentor young men, age from 6 all up. We do it every day. Me and Jay Murray, he's my coach as well, my leader. So we work with kids, been working with them a long time. And, I've seen that life. It ain't worth it. So everybody listening, watching, I'm telling you, leave that life alone. I've seen a lot of people that we had, I'm going to be done. He was one of the OGs. He ended up prison, fought all the time, and he lost his life back here a couple years ago, but they came down from Chicago. People, it was over 3,000 people there. And they were telling my nieces and nephew, people that around the area, they would call themselves Bloods, and they were finna come and kill everybody. But we tried to, some of the guys talked to them and said, man, y'all need to let that life go. But that's nothing to be played with. So, and also I'm a pastor for Greater Work All Over Ministry. I'm a minister to do a lot of outreach ministry. Christian Crunk Entertainment is one of the ministries I do, taking back the street, Way to Grow. So God, I got a loving, beautiful wife, got 10 grands, got 5 beautiful children. So God spared me. So I was supposed to be dead at 22 years old.
You got a lot, baby. You got a lot to be thankful. Come on, y'all. Y'all put your hands up for DJ Fanatic. All right, so we have in the our special guest. Want y'all to put your hands together for China White in the building.
All praises to God.
Oh, good, but we glad you made it.
Like he get all the glory, but I'm happy to be back in Huntsville. Thank you for inviting me back. No more dirty. That's what I am. No more dirty. No more dirty music. So Man, where do I start?
So,
Yeah.
so our co-host
Okay.
has a few. She's gonna do. We're gonna start that way, and then we're gonna dig in on some solutions. But we definitely were. I'm really glad you made it, and thank you for everything.
I'm glad to be here.
Okay, well, first let's start off. We are happy to have you with us, as well as everybody else. All the testimonies were really great. And it makes me jump into some things because my mom, my family, my backstory is very interesting, ironically. But my granddad was a bishop in the church. He had a very interesting fall from grace. And so it was very interesting for my family because of his transgressions. We were not as welcome into the church. So our journey to get back into the church community, I'm a little different because I'm one of those people that I feel like, the building is great and it's great to come together, but you pass the church on the way to the building. And so every testimony that y'all have given tonight is very significant of that to me. So I appreciate that. But one of the biggest things that my mom always used to tell me is that you have to mind your members. And so a lot of the testimonies that you have talked about the process of making sure that you transition to clean music. There is no more dirty. And so I would like for you to give a little bit of a backstory just about, because telling my age and also some of my get down back in the day, but I know you from from your time with Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. That was probably the height of my teenage years. But just talking about, your journey there and kind of where you are now, and just to give some, a little bit of backstory about you, because you have an amazing story.
Yeah, well, okay, well, so I don't even know where to start, but I signed my first record deal in 1999 with Lil Jon and East Side Boys, VME Records, and I was 24, something like that, in my early 20s, really, really angry, really wild. So, I mean, if I go rewind a little bit, I didn't grow up in the church. I'm pretty sure my mom, they love God, but I didn't grow up in the church. It was real, a lot of trauma, a lot of trauma, a lot of perversion, and just a lot of things going on. Everybody was doing the best they could, but it was traumatic, So then I grew up in that. So then I was shaped in that, So when I started rapping, that's how my music was, like real angry, real rah, rah, rah. And then I was young, So I signed with them in 1999, and then we went on to record, and I'm gonna try to keep it short. Went on to record on Bia Bia. We signed another major deal, and his records went to sell millions, and I got gold and platinum plaques. But God always had his hand on my life. I just didn't know him, So throughout my journey of just the process of just living that life, being on tour, just being around in that industry, he always had his hand on him. I just didn't know, but it got to the point where I just got tired of it, cause fame and money never really moved me. Everything I did it from the heart. So when I was making that rowdy music, I was doing it from my heart. That was what was in my heart. So I just got to the point where I was tired. I was like, I'm tired of doing this. Like, I'm tired of it. I want to do gospel. And I told him that. I was like, look, I won't serve God. I want to do gospel. And it was like, no. It was like, no. So I went through being on tour, and then at one point I was married young, so I was going through with that. And then I had a little bout where my husband wanted to be the thug life or whatever, and I'm just like, yeah, come on, let's do it. Because my daddy lived that type of life. He kind of tried to keep pick on spirit, like I'm sorry. He lived a gangster life. Like, yeah. So I kind of followed the husband, and then I had to do, he went to jail. We had to do some Fed time. So I only did like 6 months in the feds, which God showed me mercy because I didn't have to go to the hard. He sent me to the camp. He sent me to the camp. So,
you know what? You got to talk about, because we talked about on our show about that experience. Why don't you share that experience when you were in the camp? You went for one thing, God was doing something else, and
yeah, like I went like right before we was gonna shoot the Be a video, but I had to turn myself in. Like it was all God orchestrated, and we had to ask the judge, could I stay out to do the video? And he was like, yeah, he granted it. So I'm dressed up for the video. I shoot the video, and literally after we finished, like 2, 3 in the morning, John drove me to prison. I had to turn myself in. So I'm in the back seat of the car, taking the hair out, wiping the makeup off my face, and and then I'm like, okay, I'm preparing myself. I gotta go in here hard. I don't know what I don't know what to expect, and I walk in there, and I get in there, and these women meet me, and then everybody I met in there was a Christian. Like every female, like they all was Christians.
Wow.
So really, I spent 6 months just praising God, reading the Bible.
Wow.
I mean, the Spirit was, and I had my first spirit experience with the Holy Spirit in the feds. But the women, like, I got to see, like, almost every woman in there was in there because of, and I'm not blaming the men, but
Keep it real.
no, I'm not
Keep it
blaming
100.
y'all, but
Keep it 100.
y'all ahead and we follow y'all. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So all these women was in here like because of they man. Like one woman, she had did like 30 years for her husband, and he was out and then had kids on her and all that, and she was serving, but he came picked her up. She was getting out. He came with the flowers and stuff. There had a lot of females in there because of just
That's why I'm not about that ride or die life. You riding, but I got questions.
Go
I
ahead.
gotta
Go
die.
ahead. Jump in.
No.
Yeah, so in that it actually turned out a good experience for me. I'm sorry, like I met God in there. God had been sowing seeds all my life, but in there I met the Holy Spirit. I was spending time with Him. I was praying. We was under the tree praising Him. We was in a Word every day, and I had got to a level got in a realm where, like, I was in another realm. And then I was being tested in there. They was trying to give me extra duty. They were just doing everything wait, let me go back. I was in there, and then the Be a video came on. Like, okay, so now everybody, like, okay, yeah, So, but me spending so much time with God in there, it just brought me on a whole nother realm with Him. Whose mind is stayed on thee, He'll keep you in perfect peace. And I had so much peace, they couldn't touch me in there. But of course, I was like, I started sending letters to everybody. Your sin separates you. And I was really serious ministering. Like, nah, it's me and God. And then I got out, and then I just went back on tour, and I just kind of went back in the world. Just forgot all that. But, so what else? Like,
So, did you said you had a question, or you want me to pick up?
Oh, no. Well, and you kind of went into some of that, because I was going to ask, like, what are some of the biggest, and this can go to everybody, on the panel a little bit, but what are some of the biggest obstacles that you felt like you've faced? Because that is a huge transition in your life. You were doing majority secular music, and I know they wouldn't allow you to do gospel, but how do you feel like that was, like, what was the biggest obstacle in that?
I mean, the biggest obstacle, well, once I'm like this. If I make up my mind, this is what I'm gonna do. So when I said, you know what, I was going through a lot. Katrina hit. I lost everything. Went back to, I had got pregnant, so I was recovering from that, spending time with her, and then trying to rebuild my career. And then when I went back to Atlanta, nobody wanted to, I was just doing all kind of stuff. So it just got to the point where I was like, I'm done. I'm doing gospel, and this is what I'm doing. And I walked away from it all. And so now I'm back in my room recording my first gospel, and just loving God. I really didn't know what to do because I knew the secular side, but I didn't know the church side. I wasn't connected with church, and I wasn't groomed in church, and I didn't know how it goes. I didn't have no connections. God, I'm just for you. But, some people say you're stupid. They was like, you dumb, you stupid. You should have got the money first. It's a big transition. I was making a lot of money. I was making a lot of money with that, and I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing. And then I had to work it out. Started Ubering. I started doing stuff. I started to maintain. Yeah. And a lot of people, it's scary, especially if you get to a certain level. I got to a certain level, but I ain't get all the way, like big time. But to really, you know, I think a lot of them want to walk away. I think a lot of them want to be done, but they don't lose. Some stuff you gonna lose, like, and you gonna, yeah, I lost some stuff, but I mean, you lose a guy. You may go through, and I had the Grubhub, I did DoorDash, I did delivery. You know, I maintain, and I'm still maintaining, and you know, until my season, to like God be like, okay, it's time. But yeah, you know, a lot of them, they don't want to let go. They don't know how.
Right.
And they holding on to stuff, but you just got to make the decision. Like, and I did, and it was challenging, and it's, you know, it was challenging. I felt like, okay, am I going to do this? Did I, like, what I'm going to do now? Like, I don't know what to do, you know? So, but I'm happy.
Come on, y'all. Put your hands together. So I want to ask Smite to jump in. I'm talking about the industries, the pros, cons, and then I want, if we can, from Gospel Man, and then also DJ Fanatic, and what that transition look like. Because, I mean, we're talking about real talk, folk. We're talking like when you come out of this and you decide you want to really do clean, you want to do something different. And I think really one of the biggest things about changing is different. If everything you do is the same, like China White was saying, if it's the same, you got to do different to get different results. Smite, what's up?
So just to commend China, like that's one of the toughest and most conversations that I had just in the industry in general, because a lot have that conviction, but they can't pull away from that thing. You know what I mean? And so just, you know, I commend you, you know, just grinding and pushing out. But what I want to say is that music is like one of those things that it's like candy. You can eat candy all day, it's gonna hurt, but you're gonna continue eating it because you love it. Anything that's of instant gratification, which is music, is of the enemy. Anything. So if it's instant gratification, you know you gotta look out for it. You gotta look out for it. The music industry is the same way. It's a lot of different ways I want to go, but I'll go this way since we're talking about as far as like gangs and to keeping it clean and everything. A lot of the music that is being put forward is not to your, as far as like you. And as Officer was saying, like, I just really wish more ears were able to hear, because the music that is going out is not to the benefit of the young kids today. The older, we know what this music brings, we know and understand what the music is saying, but all the kids know is, oh, it's a cool beat, so I'm gonna listen to it. Yes, it is. It's really good. So that's why I'm really proud of each and every one of the artists up here using their platform, using their life experiences to be able to just take the music and clean it up and have it to be no more dirty anymore, because it is important that more and more artists get out there putting a greater message than what they're getting right now, because the message is honestly is trash. You know, you're literally listening to garbage. So, you know, garbage in, garbage is always going to be out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't even know that garbage is coming out, and you're wondering where you get it from. 95% of the brain is subconscious. You hear music, music instantly goes to your subconscious. Subconscious puts it out, you wonder, why did I look at her that way? Or why did I look at him that way? Or why did I say this that way? Or why did I say that way? Why did I speak to my parents this way? Everything is suggestion. So music is really powerful. It's the most powerful thing on the planet, and the most, like I said, instant gratification. So, you know.
Come on, y'all. That's good. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say just even on that, and I think people don't realize a lot of times music it shifts your mood a lot.
It shifts, yeah.
And a lot of people, like I know I used to have a friend, anytime she would be sad, she just wanted to listen to even more sad music. She's in there listening to Lenny Williams, and I'm like, girl, but who wants to get more sad, you know? And I've had times even myself where I've been listening to a song, and I'm a beat person, I love music, just, you know, that's my background is in the arts. And it's been times I've been listening to something, then I'm like, wait, has this been saying this the whole time? And I'm not even paying attention to the lyrics because I've gotten so caught up into the music and the melody. And so a lot of times you do, like I said earlier, you have to be mindful of what you lend your members to, because that starts to consume you, and little by little bit you become that. And so that is a very good point that you made.
Let's talk gospel man, because I see these are different perspective. We talking about coming from, he's a DJ, he was one of the top DJs in the country and yay, internationally, DJ Sam Smite, and walked away in the middle of Top Game. China White walked away in the middle of Top Game. He was a dope boy from in it. Come on, talk about that. From a dope boy to church boy.
So this transition, my transition is tested every day. Every day. Like well, I always tell people, I live every day like it's my first day out of prison. Because as soon as I got out of prison, I had people trying to give me everything that sent me to prison. Even when I was in prison, I had to, so I won my appeal. I got sentenced to 7 years, and I was working on my appeal. So when I won my appeal, I still sat in prison for 6 more months. And as I was sitting in there, it seemed like, man, every day somebody would come to me and say, "You're not getting out. You're not getting out." And I had this one guy, I was sitting in my cube studying. He came up in the cube where I'm studying, and he said, "I'm Beelzebub." He said, "I'm Slewfoot." He said, "God ain't letting you out."
Wow.
He said, "You guilty."
Wow.
You guilty. And I said, "Man, you must want to hear this word." I said, "You must want to hear this word." I said, "Because you come in here interrupting my time with the Lord." But so it's like every day I'm tested. Every day so when I got out, I had to learn how to tell people no, and then I had to learn how to listen. I had to learn how to listen, even when no was said to me. And I mean, I still have an 8-year-old sometimes tell me, "Dad, you wrong." And I'm like, hold up. And then I wanna power up, but then I know Christ is like, nah, it's time to power down and listen. So that's why I appreciate this opportunity, man.
Well, we appreciate you. Come on, let's give it up, man. That turning point. Let me shift real quick. John, I want to talk to John, because John, we've had an amazing journey just recently. Your story, you got to give just a little more context to that mental health and why it's so important. And I think it's important because if we're not careful, we're not listening to these things, we'll just be like, that's just how he is. That's how she is. And really, there's a lot more going on. So you doing good. You killing in school.
Okay, yeah, I'm killing it in school. I'm killing it in business. I was sales manager for my family's real estate company. Fresh out of college. Well, I wasn't fresh out of college. I was about 25. And I had my import-export business that I founded, selling products I was getting from China. So I was making plenty of money. I think it took me 3 years, and I put up $1.3 million. And that's what my plug, that's what they told me, like, all right, you're selling all these products, you're doing good. And so I remember one day, me and my dad are at Kroger's. I bought myself a new Mercedes. He bought an all-white Mercedes that was from 1988, because I was born in 1988. He just thought it was funny, he's a guy from New York, he's silly. So we're back then, sitting at Kroger's in the handicap spots. So 2 old ladies roll up, and my dad, I think he was like 73 then, he's an older cat. So they're like, "Hey, we need these spots. And my dad was like, "Get out of here, I'm chilling with my homeboy." We didn't even go in the store, but those were the last words my dad ever said to me. So I go home, I remember that day, I counted like $170-something I had in those gallon buckets that you got at work. I used to stick all my money in there, just all my little extra change and stuff. So the next day, I get a call from my mom, and she says, "Your father's gone."
And so I knew exactly what she meant. You know, he had been killed at my house by somebody that used to work for us. A guy that we let go 15 years before this incident happened. You know, out of hatred. The guy chased him down from the same spot we were just at Kroger's. Chased him down on Senior Citizen Day, shot him 17 times at our house. And for a little while, you know, on a side note, I used to feel like it was my fault because I had a legal gun business. You know, in Alabama, guns are pretty much free. They're legal, you know. So I was out selling a rifle to this guy, and my client never showed up. And this guy was always on time. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Where's this guy at? You know, so I went ahead, handled my business, going to get something to eat, and I got the call. So we pull up, and this is what's crazy. The hardest part was when the police asked me who did it. I had to tell them who did it, and I knew off the rip. You know, and half my family's Muslim, the other half is Christian. I'm an eye for an eye, and I might turn the other cheek, you know? It just depends on how I feel that day. So, and that was my first semester at grad school. So I'm doing all this, just started to go get my master's in engineering, and this happens, hits me in the face. I didn't know how to feel. The first day that I ever did any hard drugs was that day. You know, I didn't know how to feel. I wanted to feel everything, and I wanted to feel nothing at all. And I learned, like, okay, after a while, there was nothing wrong with that, you know? That was a normal reaction. And so I just went through a 10-year period of, okay, that really affected my mental health. After that, I was diagnosed with severe PTSD, severe psychosis, severe depression, severe anxiety, and the worst part about that is that you think you are fine the entire time. You know, other people will see it, but you can't see it in yourself because you can't save yourself. Nobody else can save you. The only thing that can save you is the Lord, is God, and you got to want it. So,
wait, we gotta clap that up. Did you hear what he said?
That's what I'm.
We could talk about it all day, we can share, but if you don't want it, if you don't want a better life, you want some peace, it's just talk. So what would the turn, we talked to, there was some things that turned, that we want to get to that turning. So, because I got to get to my man, Certified.
Okay.
And I got to get to Mr. Johnson before we get done.
I ended up going to prison for selling drugs. I was at Limestone. You know how crazy Limestone is. So I'm the tablet guy. So I'm the guy that plugs up the computers in the morning. Well, I plug them up at night, take them off in the morning. And so there was this guard, we would always talk. And I said, hey, man, I done read all the books in the pod. Can you give me some books? Can you give me some books? And we'd always talk about spirituality. He said, so what type of books you want? I said, man, I want some books on spirituality. And this is funny because everybody else asked the guards to bring them in drugs. They want that type of contraband. I wanted some spiritual contraband. I wanted some books. So he brings me these books, and it's like, okay, the same week I had a class on anger management. That really helped me understand my grief. I understood a lot of things I did. Most of the things I did was an effect of my grief. That wasn't me. That's not me. I can change. I never really was that. I was acting out. And so once I realized that, like, okay, well, worst day of my whole life is the day first time I ever did hard drugs. So that clicked in my head, like, well, I don't do drugs anymore. That was the worst day of my life. Why would I want to do something that I did that day again? You know, and I busted out laughing about it. So that same week, I got the book called The Moses Code on Spirituality. And like how you were saying, it let you look like God. You realize when God was with you every point in your life. I look back in my life like, oh, he was with me this day. He was with me this day. Oh, I can't get rid of him. He's at my front door right now. He's always here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know,
sir.
and it was just so many different points and just so many different parts where I realized the truth. You know, like, okay, God has me, God's here, God's there. And I just wanted it so much. And I just prayed. For the rest of the time, I just prayed and meditated, and read my Bible. And God just healed me. Like how you said, God will heal you in a hellhole. You know,
Yes,
when
come
you're
on,
sleeping
come on.
next to
Yes,
shanks and locks in the sock, one pack of noodles, God will come with you and say, man, I got you by the hand, let's go.
Come on, y'all. Y'all put your hands together for my man, John. All right. I know we don't want to take up all your time, but this is real stuff. I think this is important. Did you have something you wanted to share? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No,
Oh, I wanted to touch on, because when he talked about trauma and me being traumatized, and really these kids, they have trauma. You know, and then you go back and you like, it's generational. Because hurt people. And it's ongoing until somebody stand and just like, nah, we gonna break this. In this industry, these kids, they traumatized. I have a 20-year-old. I'm traumatized from her. Like, okay, like, yo, what? Like 2 years ago, my daughter, they shot her car up 30 times. Not one bullet hit her. God had me praying in a closet for her, and I didn't know why. Then I get a call. I'm to the lake. Her car shot up. The friend who they was trying to get, he passed away in the car. Wow. Now she's super traumatized. Yeah. Now she's self-medicating.
Wow.
She's smoking and smoking and smoking. I'm like, okay, the doctor want to give her Prozac, but I'm like, okay, maybe this is a little better weed, but I don't want her, you know. Yeah. So she's self-medicating, and she's walking around trying to be happy, trying to just figure it out, and she's traumatized. And these kids in the industry, they traumatized. Yeah. And really, I'm gonna tell you, the powers that be, they money driven. Yeah. They're not moral driven. They don't care about these children. You know, they don't care. They make this money. Yeah, talk about that. Kill them. Yeah. Drop it like it's hot. Yeah, do that. Come on. Yeah, go ahead on. We don't care. Let's make this money. And all the while, y'all ain't making no money. We making all the money. Exactly. But we don't want to get into that. But we have to come together and like, yeah. They need avenues. They need guidance. They need venues. They need buildings. They need programs. Yeah. Yeah. Like, that's what they need. Like, we just need to keep working on it. Because, I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do at the end of the day. But just like we evolve, they're going to evolve. They just need, they need help. Yeah.
Right.
So and they got the wrong people helping them.
Right. And I think that...
money. Yeah. No.
And I think that's why things like Dr. McMillan, if you want to share about the impact of community, faith, and then working with like law enforcement, why that is so important. Because you work in the Council of Justice. How is that impactful as relates to law enforcement, as relates to working with brothers on the street, individuals that have a past?
Well, the reality is that most of our young people, they need somebody to love them, somebody to care for them, somebody to spend time with them. One of the things when you talk about spirituality, Christ is definitely answered. No, hands down, no matter what's happening, Christ is the answer. But the other piece of that is that oftentimes we don't have caring communities around not only our children, our people, period. You know, church is supposed to be a house of faith, regardless of what it is. It's supposed to be a house of faith, a community we're supported in. And part of the other issue is that most folk don't know what grief is. When somebody's acting out, they don't think about the fact that this person is not eating regularly, this person is not sleeping regularly, this person is living in a housing situation that is hostile and that they don't know, they don't have any sense of peace in their situation. So when children act out, 9 times out of 10, they're acting out the dysfunction of the family. But they're the ones who usually get targeted because they're the ones who can't hide it up or hush it up. So I think that when you talk about that whole circle is that, one, God, number one, definitely. 2, there's got to be a caring community. You've got to be surrounded by people that love you for real, not for what you can do for them, right, but they actually love you and are willing to take the time to walk with you as you're trying to learn what it is to do. A lot of our young people, and I'll hush in a second for sure. No, good. But a lot of our young people, they don't know. We've had 3 generations of children raising children. So they don't know how to deal with hostility. They don't know how to deal with ego. They don't know how to deal. It's not that it's necessarily abnormal. It's just they don't know how to deal with it. So when I deal with situations, they say, well, I'm going to get, like a young man, for instance. You have to learn how to know the difference between a battle and a war. Because every situation is not a war. Yeah.
Come on.
But the reality is that if you never learn that, every time, if you step on my shoes, I'm going to kill you. Why? Because it's my ego. It's not about me understanding that doesn't matter. I don't want to die because somebody stepped on my shoe. But it's the whole thing is we have to just recognize the fact that, one, we've got a lot of trauma in our community. But it's not just our community. We got a lot of trauma in this nation.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of mental illness in this nation. I mean, I'm willing to tell the world, I have PTSD myself. Yeah. But you got to really recognize the fact that, number one, you got a problem. And number 2, you will have the courage for somebody to hold you accountable, to say, look, hey, you're not quite where you need to be. Maybe you need some help. And so I think it's real important for us to recognize the fact that a lot of what's going on in our community is not necessarily because of the people in the community. It has a lot to do with also the environment as well. Yes, we make choices, no doubt about it. But poverty is a dog. And when people don't feel valued, they don't feel like they have a stake in the world around them, it's some hard people to deal with.
Right.
So we have to really, we're going to have to really come together and save ourselves under God. But we're going to have to really pull together and let people know that, hey, look, I really love you. Take that young girl, that young man, and show them a better way. Right. We can always talk about what they're doing wrong. Show them a better way. Right. Show them where they can go. Show them what they can do. And awesome. This is awesome because it gives you an opportunity to see that individuals make choices that are based on principle that are still blessing the world. And so I'm just excited about that. And come to a point, for me, it was my wife that really helped me personally. She said, hey, look, with the drinking and everything else, she said, look, this ain't going, we're not going to raise our son like this. Right. So I had to value that relationship enough to say, you know, she's got a point. So that opened up a pathway for me to be able to say, all right, well, what's my next option? And that's the whole thing, is that it's hard to turn the page. Because when you're used to something, and all of a sudden now you're dealing with things differently, you've got to have another circle as well, another supportive circle. So I'm just grateful that not only what God has done up here with all these wonderful people, but I'm also grateful for the fact that I think that we've come to a point where we understand that change can come.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things. Milt, you got to share, what was those things? Because I know you was, in this city, you was, oh my goodness, he would have really been looking for you all day, every day, and he probably was. Praise the Lord, he didn't get you on this one. You know, but the truth is, there's got to be practical turns. You pray, you make a decision mentally that I'm not going back to the same old knucklehead stuff or whatever that is. I'm not going to settle with this dude or this chick, whatever. But then what was it for you? You moved, you said you made a transition, you moved, you got a lovely wife, child. What was it for you? Because if somebody's listening now and they're going, okay, yeah, I'm a menace. I'm still a menace, but I don't want to be a menace. What would you say to that person so they can choose?
I tell them what my dad told me.
You got talking to that mic, bro.
I tell them what my dad told me at Limestone Correctional Facility. My dad broke it down to me like this. He said, Revelations 3:20. I stand at the door and I knock. If you hear me, open up, I'll come in and sup with you and you with me. And he broke it down like this. He said, Jesus is standing at the door of your heart. You know, we be in situations where we know this ain't right. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why we can look back on our lives and be like, we seen God throughout this whole time covering our lives. It's these times, like, you go through things and you know, man, something about the way I'm living ain't right. That's him knocking at the door of your heart. He's knocking. He's knocking. You feel like you're in a situation that you want to get out of, but you don't know how to get out of. Jesus is knocking at the door of your heart. But one of y'all said it. You got to want it. Because, see, what he won't do is kick in the door. You have to invite him in. And once you invite him in, I like the analogy. Like, there was a story of a lady. She used to go through so many vacuum cleaners, right? So one day this lady came and knocked on her door and sold her, I think it was a Kirby or whatever. Long story short is, like, I see it like that, man. We use so many things to try to clean up our heart. You know what I'm saying? And they're insufficient. You know, she had to pay some big money for this vacuum cleaner, but she'll never need it again. Like, the biggest thing you're gonna have to give up with Christ is your will. But there is victory when you surrender. There is victory when you surrender. So it's gonna cost you something, but you're gonna get everything. You no more. You ain't gonna get no more broken vacuum cleaners. This one's gonna last you forever. If you just let them in,
if you just let him in, give him permission, he's going to turn your mess into a message. He's going to turn your heart of stone to a heart of flesh. That's his word, and you can stand.
Put your hands together. That's it. That's it. That's it. DJ Fanatic, we gonna. I know we need to wrap it, but I do want you to share, coming from the gang world, and you too, Jay Murray, because we talked about the street, we talked about the domestic violence, dealing with these whack dudes and females. We talked about, at some point, how to choose is to choose, and then that will has got to be surrendered. But you're coming from gang certified life, where, like what China was saying, everybody just is, they just murder, mercs, that's all they know, eat, sleep, and breathe. And they, you know, this is my environment. What was it for you that made you say, okay, I'm gonna be certified, but for the king, and I'm gonna still rep in my hood? Jay, and then.
Well, yeah, you know, I love what you said. You said, these are things that I'm doing, they're actually not me. And what trauma kind of does is it makes you relate to the things that you're doing and also your surroundings. You start to think that that's you, right? So really, our needs are, we need to feel safe, we need to feel loved, we need to feel wanted, we need to feel respected, sort of honor. And even if we're doing bad things and we feel like we're safe, we feel like we're honored, we feel like we're loved, and we feel like we're important, we're going to do it. So, I mean, me personally is for those reasons. I want to feel safe. I want to feel like I was a man, and I feel like I had a family and a community. So as long as people are giving me the kudos, or giving me some sort of respect and authority for doing bad things, I had to up the ante. So you good that I stole? Well, what if I fight, right? And if I fight, what if I got a gun now? And I felt like that was giving me more respect, that was giving me more honor, but it was a one. I didn't realize what I was really looking for was a community of good people who can say, listen, I'm celebrating you for the good things that you are. And calling out the things that you're doing that you're not. They're giving me a true identity. Like you said, fulfillment that comes with really like God. And what I had to realize was, you know, the things that I was doing, I didn't have enough money in the bank to pay for the consequences. Like when I got in trouble, I couldn't put money on my books, right? I couldn't even send my parents gas to come those 3 hours up to North Georgia to come see me, right? Nothing for nobody. I did all this stuff to gain this notoriety, but at the end of the day, it's the people who were praying for me, telling me wasn't who I was. It was the people who was trying to point me to Christ that was there for me. I said, something ain't right. And again, you said this, preacher man, the day I got out, the day, I hadn't heard from people in years. The day I got out, I don't know how I got out, like a PSA. People pulled up, drink, we're gonna go to the club. I got an ankle monitor on. They're like, we're gonna party. I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna do this for you. And man, God was so gracious that, and one night we kind of got into a bad situation. But God, if you let me make it home, I'll make a change, right? And it was just the last gas that he did allow me to make it home. I realized, I was like, man, these people not for me. And also I had to turn the light on that the people that love me was the people that were there for me. And like you said, a lot of times we have been taught in that law enforcement, that the church, and all these people reject me. But that's the reason we need people that look like you and have your story and been through what you've been through, because we all now have so many different identities to touch multiple. You might be able to touch the kid that I can touch, and you might not be able to speak to the one that I can speak to. But if we're all together serving Christ with our stories, so many kids. And so many kids can touch so many kids, right? That's the reason that there can't be competition. There has to be gospel community. And just having people who love me and realizing that if I make this transition, will I still be okay? Will I still be safe? Will I still have a community to go to? Would I still have value if I walk away from this? And people who love God made sure that these things were taken care of. And that helped me continue this move and not look back.
With me, I grew up in a violence home, but just looking back on my life, I was just really angry because my mom and my dad separated. We grew up in a home. My dad, we had a beautiful home. We had a perfect family, but behind the scene, I seen my dad beat my mom. But I was really a lot of disappointments, unforgiveness, and I just was an angry teen. And no matter how much my brother was trying to talk to me, I had a younger brother, he always stood by me. He loved his big brother. My older big brother, he always got on me about stuff, and he told me, you need to change your life. You need to lead the gang life alone. But I was just hard-headed. But I think like with me, what really changed my life around when I lost my baby brother. And he the one was always peaceful. But he only one can talk to me. It's like my brother was there, he only one can talk to me to calm me down, because when I go there, I go there. It was no turning back. But the day he died, I remember we was like at the hospital, and my brother was paralyzed, and he was paralyzed from neck down. He had a car accident, and I remember he told me, he said, man, you need to change. But at that particular time, even though it hurt me, I was angry with God. I was like, why? Why you take my brother? Why you couldn't take me? I was the one wanted to, but from that point, it's like, it just got worse and worse and worse, no matter what. My grandma was praying for me, and I remember me jumping on my grandma. And then I had guns. I tried to kill my brother. And it was just so much crazy stuff. But I had my first child when I was like 18 years old, so that still didn't change me. But I got to that point in my life that I'm like, I remember one of my friends, guy, he was like one that had gang leaders, and after I got into trouble with the cops, and I was headed, I was in court, finna go to prison, whatever, but at that time, God spared me. So me and him talked. He looked at me. He said, man, leave that life alone. He said, it ain't for you. And I'm looking at him like, man, yo, you crazy? I'm like, why you telling me? I'm looking at him because we all we look at him, have respect, but it's like God, I knew God was speaking to him. He said, man, and then I had a praying grandma. My grandma prayed for me. I'm talking about, when you have somebody praying, my grandma prayed for me. She said, people always say you want to live to see 22, be 22 years old. But the day I'm 50 years old, by the grace of God, I'm 50. But but I look back on my life, but he told me to leave that life alone, so I know God was speaking. So it's like, I just wanted to change. I want to make a difference, because I was like a menace to society. I was like, I didn't care about nothing. But God had a plan for me. And for me to work with young kids, and I go back to the streets and people that go around some of the baddest neighborhood from all over, from Atlanta and whatever, we travel. But I'm looking at my life, and I'm like, God using me now to change. Me and Jay Murray, my manager right there, we are coach, what I'm saying? We're growth coaches and for the Way to Serve ministry in Opelika, Alabama. And we've been like mentoring young guys, young men, young ladies from ever since they were like 6 years old all the way up. We've been doing it for a long time. But we're actually just on, like he was saying, like Pastor Lee, he was saying that we actually they'll go just be talking about, we be about it. Because they need somebody to be consistent, be accountable. Yeah. They don't need you to be talking about, we're going to be there. You need to be there for them. We had two young men, and I'm not calling them, but we had two young men that we've been dealing ever since they were like probably, 12, 13? Yeah. But one is headed now because he had a false robbery, but had a fake gun. Now he's headed to prison. We went to court. We let them know that, hey, the same talk we had, man, you don't want that life. But we went there. We let them know, no matter what situation you got in, we still here for you. But number one, God is there for you.
Come on now.
Because a lot of times people looking at prison being a bad place. It's not. Yeah. A lot of times God looking to just spare you, to show you that, okay, hey, you need to change your life. But now we like God. We know we let them know that we there for you, and we want to let you know that we love you. Because we always teach our boys, respect God, yourself, and others. If you don't have respect for yourself, you ain't going to have respect for God.
and you ain't gonna have respect for others. So we teaches them that. That's my biggest thing. Now I look at these young men and I look at like, man, leave that gang. Like I have a nephew, don't be damn. My nephew went from being a young teen, whatever, he was angry because his father went in life, and he went to the gang life. But the reason why I found out he went to the gang life because he kept hearing about me in the streets. He said, uncle, you know, hey, I heard about you. I heard you was so bad, whatever, man. They say everybody feared you. But he want to make a name for himself. So my own nephew was trying to kill me. So, you know, he want to make them, but me got into it, but then fight, whatever. The very day he don't like me. But I know why he don't, because of God in me. But I still try to mentor him, try to talk to him.
Yeah.
I got nephew, but at the end of the day, you know, I did thank God, but it changed my life because I want to make a difference. And I know God had me for a reason because I look at everybody, you know. So I just thank God for that.
Come on, y'all.
You know?
One more comment.
I want to real quickly say
Yeah.
this quick statement that I tell all these boys that is the 100% truth, and you probably seen this being out there. So, like I said, I'm a firefighter and a paramedic, and I always tell people, and I hope this number never goes up, that I have had 20, 25 and younger boys die, either right there in the street, in the back of my ambulance, or at the ER. And I said, I knew probably 85% of them. And I said, some of them live like gangsters, but none of them died like gangsters. They cried for their mother, they cried for God, they cried for another day and another chance. I'm telling you, it's not the life they portray it out there.
Come on, y'all. Let's give it up. So, you have any closing remarks or to affirm our law?
Just wanted to say, y'all, I can only imagine what the onlookers are feeling because y'all are an inspiration to me. I really appreciate all y'all. The Huntsville Police Department appreciates all what y'all are doing. I'm gonna get with each and every one of y'all after this, and we're gonna exchange some information because I would love to work with y'all in the future.
Come on, y'all. That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, so we have some giveaways. Any comments? Anybody want to share anything that was very impactful to you? I can bring the mic to you, or you can step down, or you can just say it from where you're. Yes, I'll bring it down, and then we're gonna do our giveaways because we promised giveaways. Okay, that was a sidebar. Okay, Jared Witt's left. What's up, bro? What's up?
We just want to say thank you so much for being so transparent. God is good. Clearly, he's using each and every one of you, your stories, your journeys, and it's making an impact. So continue doing what you know to do. God is good.
Oh, we have one here. Okay, here you go. No, wait, well, they can't hear you, though. We want to make sure everybody can hear you. Okay, please.
Hi, you guys. So, I don't go to this church. My mom, she got the food truck, and this was I just stumbled upon this. One of the things I feel like you guys were touching on is something that I just recently dealt with. I have, y'all didn't say it, but it's an escape. All the things you guys were talking about, y'all used as an escape from the reality that y'all was dealing with. And so recently this summer, I got off social media. I stopped listening to secular music. I stopped smoking weed. I stopped having sex. Like, you know what I mean? I literally cut off everything, and I just really got really close with God. And so one of the things that I think is right here in the second, he was talking about, you know, how they're looking for these things, they're searching for these, well, all of y'all kind of touched on this, but they're searching for these things, and, you know, it says no more dirty. This music that's being pushed is sex, you know. These are escapes. This is sex, it's drugs, it's violence. These are escapes that these children have nowhere else to turn to. Oh, my God. That they have nowhere else to turn to because they are in these traumatic environments. Because they are in these oh, I'm shaking y'all. They are in these traumatic environments, and they are looking for an out. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know what they need in life, and they just kids, and they just respond into their environment. And so all of you guys were right. Y'all were spot on. Y'all need this community. Y'all need this church. Y'all need to make sure y'all stay hands-on. And that's it. That's all.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes. And thank you all for coming and all those who are watching around the world, because that's how it's more.
Okay, I just wanted to say, as a Sunday school teacher, what is it that we can do, the community, to help these children? My daughter's 31, so I don't have any children, but what is it that would have helped in that type of situation? You know, I have, Sunday school students that have the anger problems. I see that. But what is it that I can do? I mean, they all love Miss T, but what if I see that? What would have been a help to you?
That's cool. Let's get it. That's what it is.
I think one of the most important things you can do is, first of all, recognize that they are going through what they're going through. I think the second thing is to be willing to support them with love. A lot of young people just don't have it. They don't have anybody to talk to. And so oftentimes those that you do have to talk to, they don't, let me just go here. In churches, you have to create a community. You have to create a community in the church. Membership is, for me, foolishness. And I do pastor. It's foolishness. It's not about membership. It's about a family. And so if you have people in the family that are hurting, you pull out all stops to help those that are hurting in your family. That's with the abuse piece. You can't allow, if you see a sister coming to church, or a brother for that matter, and they're being abused, you don't just say, hey, how you doing, sis? Nice to see you. You say, what can I do to help you? And I think that that's what it really comes down to, having a really genuine love for you. But if you have a child that's going through something, have the courage. And let me tell you something, it takes courage. Because some of these situations, you may have to do some things you don't want to do. Yes, right. But I'd rather get you be angry at me because I turned you in for sexually molesting your child than for me to sit back and say, well, it's going to be all right. It's not going to be all right. So that's what I think we have to create that caring community so that there's a freedom to be able to be loving, kind, and compassionate. And we need to call other folk out when they dump on kids, because you don't know their situation.
So another good tactic as an adult working with younger individuals, just be available. There's a lot of times we as adults, we're occupied trying to do this and do that, work tasks. And to us, we're being productive. To the kid looking up, they're saying they're just doing what they're doing. So I just need to go ahead and do what I'm doing. If you kind of create a space where, or like just a time, like a 5-minute slot in your curriculum where you're talking to each kid individually, they can be in a safe space, like what my man was talking about, and they can feel heard and they can feel seen, and who knows, that 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds of interaction probably might be the only interaction they've had all week, as far as personally with an adult. Their parents are busy doing this, doing that. You don't know their home structure, so that's one of the tactics that would be helpful.
Can I add one thing to that? Because I know technically the question wasn't for me, but.
No, you the co-host. Come on, y'all, give it up for the co-host. She's been holding it down. Go ahead.
One of the biggest things, and my parents were very intentional. And so it's some things that I carried on with my own children, because it's not, parents, first of all, they're not going to get everything right, especially when you're a first-time parent. And it takes you to be able to switch those roles to realize, like, oh, those are just, they were people still dealing with things and going through, so they did the best that they could. But one of the things my dad always used to make sure is that he allowed me to be a person. And so I always say children are little people, and they have personality. So I've never been a person that was big on shut up and stay in a child's place on certain topics, because if you don't allow them to speak and to be, like, to express or know a lot of things that they're going going through. And so I know, especially in culture, our culture, you know, we're so big on what goes on in this house stays in this house. But sometimes what's going on in the house don't need to be in the house. And so if you allow them to come and to be open and honest, you get a lot further with them, you know. And sometimes, you know, we do have to talk to them about respect and those different things, and that comes with it. But being open to them and allowing them to be themselves and to express themselves. Because a lot of times when you shut kids up or you stop them, you stifle them. And that goes throughout their whole lives like that. And so just being, like you mentioned, a safe space and being able to let them, you know, openly express themselves goes a long way.
Anybody else had a comment before we do the gifts? You got one and then two, and then we'll do our wrap up.
I was really just gonna piggyback off what you were saying, like you, especially in a church environment, we have to where they're at, and we have to understand that we after they had babies, you know, because they get excommunicated in their church, but they can see the church throw a baby shower for somebody who's married. Not to say that we condone any type of sin, but it's like, man, you got people out here that feel like they're alone. You know what I'm saying? And you got people feeling like they don't want to come and confess no sins. They don't want to come and tell you what they did because they feel like they'll be shamed. When we got to understand, we've all been there, and God has forgiven us for the things we've done. God loved us, so we have to be that love. I'm gonna say, I just wanted to piggyback. That's the best way to deal with stuff like that, is to genuinely love the person unconditionally. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you did. I'm glad that you opened up to me. I don't want to betray your trust. I love you where you at, and that's how you deal with that. That's how you.
And it's okay to let children know it's okay to hurt. We're all hurt. Let people know you're hurt. Because everybody hurts. If you can be happy, you can be sad. Don't keep it all. That's a normal. And then when it comes to mental health diagnosis, just because it's the diagnosis, put a negative.
Come on. Yeah.
And have you thinking there's something that's wrong with you. You have to realize there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with other people. You might think there's something wrong with other people, but I like to say there's nothing. You know, encourage yourself so you can see your blessings.
Like that. You know, I just want to say thank you to everyone for being a part of this. Come on, y'all. Let's put your hands together here. I want to say a few things. Do these giveaways. You asked about takeaways. I want to say their gift bag. A lot of those sexual assault, if you uncover circumstance of has an amazing plethora. If you to get away, they have most adventures, and I was housing. So I see a lot of a rock support. I also have way has over 7 organizations. It's okay to make the call. Be intentional about making the call. I made the call to all these people from all over the place because I don't know it all. And we have to understand that. Law enforcement, we have to begin to look at a different framing of what law enforcement looks like, what it smells like, what it talks like, which then holds accountability on both sides. Like my brothers that came out here, amazing information. But if we don't have a conversation, or if we don't hobnob in some way, we don't cross paths, we'll never know the good that law enforcement has to provide. And then if there is something, then you have a relationship. You can go down to internal affairs. And you could go and you can make put your pitch in and you want to have a conversation versus screaming and hollering and calling. You don't want anybody's calling you not your name. So if you really think it's gonna work, calling somebody with a badge and a taser and all that out their name, you lost your doggone mind. Okay, so just real talk, you know. I am. So and then I'll say the third thing too is to take the time to be intentional about finding good support, because good support becomes community. All these people, community. Esther, community. Where you at, Esther? Community. Came all the way from Texas. You know, community. The church. We are the church, and but we have to be a good representation of it. We make mistakes, but own up to it and say, yo, my bag. How can I make it better? And watch people say, man, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your realness. I know we messed up, but we can get it better on the next rundown. So again, I just want to, and then to everyone who took time, to Green Room Entertainment, to all those that are sponsored, to HPD, and shout out to Sydney too. Please tell Sydney I said hello, thank you, because she rallied all you guys, and you all are gonna be with us at the festival. Man, this is what it's about. It's about synergy. You got to have everybody at the table, man, and then we can have a soul food dinner. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, we're going to be eating rice and beans here and peas and greens here, and we're going to be on the food truck there, and then we're going to be like, I ain't got no money here, and it's just a mess. You know what I mean? And we starving all together. So there it is. But let's do these gifts, because I know we want to stay on time. And then I do want to, let them know about Sunday afterwards. All right, what you got? We got giveaways. Y'all ready for some giveaways? Y'all act like y'all don't really want no giveaways. Y'all want some giveaways? All right, okay, here are the last three numbers. 993. 993. Who got 993? Okay, there it is. 993. Oh, they're going once, going twice, going three. 000. Okay. 998. Okay, we on a roll. We on a roll, boy. 991. Somebody said, oh man, I was almost there. 994. She said, doggone it. We was close. We on their way. 995. Yes, we got one. Woo, Lord, I was wondering. I'm like, is it really going to be tonight? Hey. All right, so we have really nice, if you like the journal and a really nice pen. You like that? Okay, cool. It's up to you. You know. All right, come on, y'all. Put your hands together one more again. Let's get it. All right, who we got next? Yes, sir. 989. Oh, that's what's up. Come on, man. We on a roll now. On a roll. All right, so you have the same thing. You can do a journal and a pen. We have this one on, there's two books here. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Yes, I need that. Yes, all right. Here we go. 990. Oh, she's the one been all night trying to figure out. Okay. Okay, so you want the two ones right here? You got this one right? Okay. You got to check in there and see if there's something, and check that one, or you can do a comfy out there when you sit in it. You want to do that one? Yeah, because you're gonna be out there at the festival. You'll be like, oh my gosh, need something for the cushion. The cushion wishing, be wishing on the cushion. All right, here we go. 997. Oh, come on down, come on down. Okay, you got a couple options. You got these two. Oh, there it is. She did it. All right, come on. All right, here we go. She's like giving me the numbers before I come. 988. Hey. Come on down, yo. All right, so you want to look in the bag, see if this is something you may want. Oh, you good? Okay, all right, there it is. All right, so two more. All right.
002.
002. 002. Anybody 002? Going once, twice, going twice. Okay.
They just want me to keep it.
They just want you to keep it. Okay. No, I need to get to 992. Yes, we got it. One more. Woo, 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 woo. And these are comfortable too. You sure we need to get his last one away? I'm like, son. Okay. All right, here's the last one. The last one, comfy seat. It's a comfy seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sit. So if you're flying or you know. All right, 999. Oh, Esther got it. Yeah, you're going to need it for your trip back. Yep, that's right. Oh, I think it's two in here. Is it two in here? Yeah, it's two of them in here. You got two coming and going. Look at that, yeah. All right, right. Come on, y'all. Put your hands together. All right, again, so we want to say thank you. I'm going to, go ahead. Ladies first.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. Tonight has been absolutely amazing. I learned a lot from everybody, and it's always good to just be able to get other perspective on things. And you never know where someone else is at in their life and how much your testimony can impact them. So thank you so much all for being transparent, because you all have had some amazing journeys. And I left more enriched today and working on my own transformation just a little bit more. So this is always just great to be in the presence of faith-based great people who are continuing on their journey and being intentional in the works that they do. And so I thank y'all for allowing me to come to host tonight. It has been great.
Come on, y'all. Give it up for her. She was knocking out the park. And that's a home run.
And y'all was stuck with me for one more event, so I'll see y'all Sunday.
So Sunday, that's right. When you want to tell them what we're doing Sunday at Big Spring Park East?
Yes, so we will be at Big Spring Park East. We kick off at 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
Yes, so it's family friendly, so fun, games, some more Fred and I getting on y'all's nerves. No, just live it. And so just come out, bring the family, bring a friend, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the whole family. Just everybody come out and have a good time with us and enjoy some good, clean fun.
Yes. 3 got China White, came all the way to hang out with us, national legend and change agent, doing all that stuff. You gonna do a song for us, at least one song for us? She gonna do a song for us? Lord have mercy, it's gonna be a crazy day. All right, so yeah. And then we're gonna have Denise Tishner, gospel. If y'all like gospel, you're gonna love her stuff. Cause she rock Bobby Jones, Kurt Carson, all of that. And then then the third one we got is Small Fire. So y'all remember Fry for BET Comedy View have you stitches and snitches. You can be like, oh my God, Lord have mercy. No cursing. Thank you so much. Keep that moving out of here. So all of that, then you got 4 DJs. You got DJs up here in the building. I'm like, what? Yeah. We got DJ, you already know Scissorhand, DJ Sam Smite, DJ Fanatic, and then our DJ T will be with us. He had a family thing going on, his son band. So he wasn't able to make it, but he was here. And then we got all these amazing all these rappers and all these singers. Oh man, we got Gospel Man, Mr. Johnson, DB in the building. Where's the rest of the record? And we got a whole bunch of other folks in the facility. And I want to thank you so much for everything. Listen, on your way out, there's a little, you can get, if you really enjoy this, make a contribution for you information. We have a little card and we can become more involved. Is that right? Yes. And then let's give it up for the administrator, Minister Brian. She always keeps the brother straight. He's always right. And then come on, we need all of our law enforcement to come down here real quick so we can celebrate you all. That you too, Dr. Mr. Michaels. And we had some over here too. Come on, y'all came in, y'all snuck in when we were already in the mix. So y'all gotta snuck on down down the road. Snuck on down. Come on, you too, Dr. Michael. Yeah, come on. Sir, I'm gonna need you. I know, no?
Come on.
No, I can't do the order. I don't have no rankings. I just live here. Come on, y'all. Let's put our hands together for our amazing team here at Huntsville Police Department. Oh, man, we got in the building, all four of them, man. Come on now. Where do you see all this kind of energy? Come on, y'all. Stand to your feet. Come on. Stand to your feet. All of these good people, and when we come together, we can make a world of a difference starting right here in town. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, so I think we need to just have prayer. Who's going to give us closing prayer? Yes, sir. Oh, he said, he was like, hallelujah. Take us out of here.
Hallelujah. Glory to God, man. Let's bow our heads in honor of the Lord. In Jesus' name, Lord, we thank you for everything that you did, everything that you've done, everything you're about to do, Lord. We ask, Lord, that you give traveling mercies to everybody as we part ways, Lord, and we come back together on Sunday. Lord, we just give you all honor, all the glory, and all the praise for your magnificent name. We magnify you every day. In Jesus' name, thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Have a good night. Blessings. And the artists have some things out front if you want to be a blessing, sow into their ministry, make a difference. And to everybody that's been watching online, we want to say thank you so much for your time. Blessings, and a blessing Sabbath to you. Peace.
And Friday at 30 p.m. Standard Time on the No Clean Positive Christian Hip Hop and urban music listening pleasure. We also have music video exclusives, interviews, ciphers, life lessons, and more. Make sure to follow us at Minister Fred at No More Dirty and No More Dirty Radio Show. For more information, at info at or call 256-6749. The No More Dirty TV Show. Connect with us and tune in.